The biggest bombshell lawsuit has just been decided in the real estate industry. The biggest one I've seen probably ever. And this is going to completely change the wholesaling real estate industry. As of Tuesday, I believe when this all happened, wholesaling real estate changed. Real estate investing changed. The real estate agent industry changed. And the way realtors work changed. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of the ways that you're doing wholesaling real estate is going to be changing. And this isn't a bad thing, but this is something you need to hear. The honest truth here is most real estate wholesaling gurus, educators, whatever in the wholesaling game, they're all realtors. So they're not going to tell you the facts. They're not going to tell you what's actually going on. And the honest truth is a lot of big stuff happened. And this could be the end of realtors. And there's a lot to unpack here. So what we're going to do is have this special episode today to really break this all down, show you the honest truth of what is going on. You see the fire behind us. The real estate industry is on fire right now. And we have to give you the facts to see how you're going to make some profits on this. I can tell you right now, there's not one person that actually shares you the unbiased facts here in wholesaling real estate. We are. There's no other videos in the world wholesaling with this type of topic because none of the real estate wholesaling gurus who are realtors, FYI, they don't want to be sued by their broker daddy. So they're scared to tell you the truth. What we're going to do is give you an unbiased view of what exactly just dropped. And I know your guru who's a realtor they legally probably not going to tell you anything, but we're going to tell you the honest facts. And so we're excited about this. This is a huge change. And we're going to try to make this as unbiased as possible. The way that you wholesale is going to change. The way that real estate agents are going to work is going to change. And if you know how to actually seize this opportunity in wholesaling real estate, it's going to change a lot for you. And you're going to make a lot more money in wholesaling. But you have to learn the facts. You have to learn what's actually going on. So you actually seem educated when you talk to other agents and everyone like this. So we're excited to break this down. We're excited to change everything in wholesaling real estate and really show you what's going on so you have the results and the information you need to succeed. So let's kind of break this all down. Let's get into this. Let's get into this and let's talk. So for a lot of you wholesalers watching this, what's going on? What just happened? So there's a lot of crazy stuff happening, right? So what we want to do is, before we tell you what happened, right, because we can give you our opinion, all these, at the end, we'll talk. What we want to do is just break down what lawsuit just happened. The Department of Justice actually gave their own synopsis of breakdown of what happened. So what we want to do is read that, kind of explain what happened there. And so you can actually get the facts. This is something gurus don't do. That we teach you is we show you the actual law, what actually got decided, and then we'll actually kind of tell you in layman's terms what's going on here. So let's kind of pop this up. Let's kind of read this together, and let's kind of break down exactly what's going on. So this is from the Department of Justice, FYI. This is what they wrote on here. So I'm trying to make this as unbiased as possible. A breakdown of the lawsuit, what's going on, everything like this. So here's the screen here. I'm going to have you read it.
Okay.
And that's kind of
so it's first and foremost tell you I am not a licensed realtor. So the important thing you have to do is you have to take the information from the most neutral source you can get. Everyone's got an opinion. I have an opinion. You guys have an opinion. If you take NAR's opinion, you know it's going to be biased. So this just didn't start overnight. This has been going on for years. And so what I'm going to do is read from the Department of Justice, which has a special interest in this case. And I'm going to explain why. So let's just read up the synopsis because I like this because it puts it in layman's terms because I'm not a licensed realtor. And if you ask or watch any realtor show, you are going to get a biased opinion. So what is the lawsuit about? NAR has promulgated a series of rules, policies, practices that have been widely adapted to its members, which have resulted in a lessening competition among real estate brokers to the detriment of the American home buyers. These rules and properties and practices include prohibiting MLS from disclosing prospective buyers the amount of commissions that the buyer broker will earn if the buyer purchases a home listed on the MLS, which is considered NAR's commission concealment rules. Number two, allowing buyer brokers to mislead the buyers into thinking that the buyer broker services are free. You've got to listen to that. Everybody talks about, oh, don't worry, it's free. The buyer's agents, the actually seller pays for it. Okay. Remember, these are layman's breakdown from an independent, although it's from the government, but this is the most fair, unbiased reporting I've seen yet. Number 3, enabling buyer brokers to filter MLS listings based on the level of buyer broker commissions offered and to exclude homes with lower commissions from consideration from potential buyers. This makes mention to the flat listing service brokerages that come up, and basically MLS has been filtering those out. And then the last one, let me put it up there. Limiting access to lock boxes, which I've said this forever, that provide licensed brokers physical access to homes that are for sale only by those real estate brokers that are members of the NAR affiliated MLS. This is considered the NAR's lockbox policy. Okay. So we basically summed up the 3 main points of why NAR is being attacked and what the real fundamental problem is. Now, you guys, I'm not a big fan of lawyers. Lawyers, they make a crap load of money doing cases like this. So let's read what the defendant allegedly conducted. So the National Association of Realtors, the defendant, which is NAR, which is a trade association organized under the laws of Illinois with the principal place in Chicago. It's the leading national trade association of real estate brokers and agents. Let me repeat. This is the leading national trade association of real estate brokers and agents. This is going to be important, and I'm going to explain how this relates to wholesaling. Among its members are licensed residential real estate brokers, including brokers who provide real estate brokerage services to home sellers and buyers. Among other activities, NAR establishes the rules and enforces the policies, the practices that are adopted by 1,400 plus local associations, also called board members, and their affiliated MLS services that conduct NAR's 1.4, let me repeat, 1.4 million member realtors who are engaged in residential real estate brokerage across the US. Okay. And then it goes on and explains what is the MLS, the multiple listing services.
Most people know.
Most people know. I'm not going to bore you with that. How does NAR issue and enforce rules and policies? It basically explains how NAR sets the rules for everybody in their trade association of how they need to operate, and they must conform to their mandatory MLS policy established by NAR. So if you're a member of NAR, you have to abide by their rules. Okay. This is the trade association that represents all realtors and brokers that are there to supposedly protect your interest. And then it goes on and basically talks about the practices. How do these rules and policies violate antitrust laws? So we get into the technical, and the deeper you go in this document, the more technical it gets. I want you to concentrate on the first page.
So yeah, what we're going to do is just give you in the comments, we're going to just give you the link so you can read it. Basically, if you really want to get in the real nitty gritty about exactly what's getting sued, well, we're just going to tell you what it is, just so it's simple for you. But basically, this is all what legally is going on. They're going after the Fair Commission rules and practices and lockbox policy. And this is all like, oh my gosh, what's going on and all these things, right? And so what you have to understand is basically, this is a lawsuit in the state of, I believe, Missouri. And so what we're going to do is just show you exactly kind of what a regular article really explaining it in layman's terms. So that's what the Justice Department really showed. But so let me show you kind of what, just a quick access article, just kind of breaking this down so you can kind of understand a little easier. So federal jury verdicts on brokers rock real estate industry. So basically a federal jury in Kansas City. So let's do this here. Found NAR had and some of the largest real estate brokers in the country guilty of colluding to inflate real estate commissions. So that's kind of the point of this is they found that basically NAR is kind of in bed with pretty much everyone, just try to inflate the amount of real estate commissions that can happen. And so this is huge, right? And so they actually got caught basically doing this. And so the verdict basically means that you cannot, in most way, I know I'm going to get clowned from some realtors on here basically, but it's basically how the commission structure is basically the buyer and the seller can't share it. Usually the buyer, the seller agent will basically share it with the buyer. So basically it just shakes it up. It's insane. And so after 2 weeks, basically they found that I think Anywhere is the real estate brokerage that got it. But they own a lot of them, but like Home Services America, Keller Williams, NAR, They all have to pay about $1.78 billion in damages to more than 260,000 homes. What this basically states is because of how NAR did their commission structure and how they kind of did it in a ungood way, I don't know how to say that the right way, they have to pay roughly, if you do the numbers, about $2,100 for every single person that had a buyer's agent. And so that's an insane amount.
That's just the beginning.
And so there's a lot more to this. There's trouble damages. Most likely other states are going to do in. And what they found is it's going to be anywhere between $1.8 billion at the minimum to $5.8 billion, because this is only for Missouri, Illinois, and I think another state. So what you have to understand here is the way that NAR is structuring their commissions, they're going to structure the way real estate agents and realtors work now too. And so this is a lot of crazy changes for wholesaling. So basically NAR says this is bad, blah, blah, blah. So at the heart of the lawsuit and broker commissions, the fee paid by home sellers to brokers for executing transactions or providing other services like scheduled property showings are generally factored in the listing price of a home. Specifically at issue is the seller's fee payments to the buyer's realtor, which are in part of governed by NAR's clear cooperation rule. This rule requires sellers to include a fee offer to a buyer's agent when listing a home. So basically it's full 6%. Seller agent gets 3%, buyer gets the other half, right? The fee, here's the problem. The fee is visible to the buyer's agent, but prospective buyer usually do not get access to. So the buyer doesn't, but the agent does. So what this basically means is what realtors do, which I think everyone knows kind of the nasty truth is, oh, Sally and Johnny, you guys want to buy a home? Great. Let me go try to find some homes for you. And obviously they can't go and look at every house listed, right? So what they do is, this is what they do. In NAR, you're able to do this. You go to filter, commission, and see what the highest commission is. And then you basically show your Sally and Sue, Sally and John, the highest commission homes. And then you push that on them. It's pretty crazy how they do it. And then the buyer's agent the buyer never knew the commission rate and things like that. It's kind of funny how that worked. But real estate generally, NAR was basically doing this on purpose to try to get the most commissions, which I get on their end, but they're basically a monopoly on this. Now, not my opinion, not legal facts, but real estate agents generally become members of NAR, one of the biggest trade associations, to gain access to local real estate databases. This is another thing that's for another day. So basically, the plaintiffs argued that the rule effectively creates a conspiracy that artificially drives up home prices, which is 100% true, as agents can steer their clients to properties that offer higher compensation, which at the end of the day makes loans bigger, makes purchase prices bigger than they really should be, and it really changes a lot. And not good, I would say. You hear a lot of people saying that the NAR is a cartel, and a lot of you guys think it's like the Mexican, but a cartel is technically someone that inflates prices and actually controls an entire market. That's what NAR, it's very close to it, right? And that's the opinion of the lawyers here. And so basically they got caught with their pants down. And guys, they got caught trying to make they're just trying to inflate as much commissions as possible. And they got caught.
Keep this in mind. Every realtor, every broker, all their lawyers told you there's no way they will ever take down NAR. So they fought against having a jury decide. So they had a jury of the peers, how the U.S. law is supposed to be, and they made a decision. And they overwhelmingly, in 2 hours and 28 minutes, said, this is crazy. And for the first time in the 100+ years, I think it's 150 years, I'm not a realtor, so someone can kind of let me know, is they are actually being taken down. They are the big brother that nobody could attack, the largest lobbying group in the United States, and they were considered, they can't fail. They were just under the United States government. And the funniest part, guys, this is where I find it ironic. I'm not a realtor, okay? I don't have a dog in this fight. I've argued against NAR for the longest time. On October 5th, I can say this because it's part of the lawsuit, Anywhere Real Estate and RE/MAX settled for $138 million to get out from under this. I don't think it worked, because now it's $1.8 billion. And if you know how antitrust lawsuits work, treble damages can triple that up to $5.8 billion. And here's the wild part. The lawyer that filed this class action lawsuit has gone to town. November 1st, they are going after all the big boys. And the bottom line is no buyer's agent is safe going forward in all 50 states, because they are coming after it, because this is considered a monopoly. It breaks antitrust laws. And for once, people are being represented saying this organization cannot be bigger than the U.S. economy, and they're being held accountable. And it's just, I'm shocked. I thought this would never come to this.
So what you got to understand is a lot of people say, I thought you were a capitalist free market type guy, and I am. The one problem I have with NAR is why I say this is because basically how it works is NAR pushes the government to pass rules and regulations to stop the free market. That's why I don't like NAR. They're in bed with the government to provide more regulations so realtors make more money, and they have been open to not liking wholesalers. And so, yeah, you know, with the downfall of NAR, who's the person that wants to regulate wholesaling, it makes me kind of happy. Now, every guru is crying in their pants. They're all super sad because unfortunately, their broker daddy, because most gurus are realtors, by the way. We're not going to break that down. This is really bad for them. And this is kind of funny. So the only people you're going to see in the comments crying are realtors who were buyer's agents and now they're like super scared and sad, or gurus because, I mean, just gurus be broke. I mean, what are you going to do? So what we're going to do is kind of break this down. But yeah, this is huge. And so they argued that the sellers basically pay to inflate commission rates at closing, which are basically put into loan packages. And I mean, tens of billions of dollars annually is just inflated. And that's insane. And so what we got to understand here is this is going to change how buyer's agents work, how sellers work, the seller agents and the listing agents, and it's going to change a lot. But the one thing we're going to break down really quick is we did say this, $1.78 billion in damages. You got to remember, NAR collects about 250 million in dues a year. And so if this lawsuit has only happened in Missouri and other like tiny little states, if this goes to Florida, Texas, California,
it's going to every one of them.
I mean, just California like.
I'm just doing some math here.
Does California like businesses making money or not? I know how that's going to go. What I'm just letting you know, New York, NAR could go bankrupt here. And this could be the end of realtors, which is not the end of real. I want to emphasize this. Real estate agents and realtors are different. Realtor is a fake fugazi word that was created for a union. Okay?
Trademark, copyrighted.
So let's kind of, use an example. If someone could make a wholesaling real estate nationalized union, I don't know, a workers conjunction, because they think they're plumbers, and they can call them, wholesale tours, right? I'm in this union. I'm a wholesale tour, right? That's what they call themselves.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a wholesaler. Well, I'm a wholesale tour. Okay. We both are wholesaling, but I'm part of the trade union. I'm a wholesale tour, right? I'm so much better. I have an ethics. I have a code of ethics. That's the difference. It's like, no. So like, just FYI, if like realtors end, there's still gonna be real estate agents, right? Like it's so like, don't feel like, oh my gosh, real estate's over. No, it's not that. This is actually great. Okay. I'm just letting you know, like, this is great. So realtors and real estate agents are different. And so what we basically do is looking at this article here, we're going to break down exactly what this basically means is $2,100 is going to be given to everyone that usually used a buyer's agent in Missouri, Kansas, and Illinois. Imagine what this happens in Florida, Texas, New York. It's going to get crazy, right? This case is just one class action lawsuit against defendants in these three little states. This is just one. They just fined NAR 6 times their annual salary. Isn't that crazy?
So guys, who do you think is going to pay this just beginning of the 1.8 billion? Do you think NAR is just going to go, okay, here's the money? They have to go to their members. And if you are a member,
well, yeah, we'll break that down. So we're going to break down some very interesting facts about this. But we're just going to give you the facts right now. We're going to give you kind of what our spin on what everything's happening. So basically, at the heart of the lawsuit is broker commissions and the fees paid by home sellers for executing transactions, like scheduled property showings generally. So specifically, the sellers' fee payments to the buyers' realtors, which are part governed by NAR's clear cooperation rule. No, we already talked about this. So Zillow shares are dropping. Open Door's actually up now. But basically, the judge overseeing this case has to issue a final judgment in the case, which could alter or even ban the court. So here's the thing. When the lawsuit was originally filed in 2019, included Anywhere Realty and Remax, which basically sold for $139 million in damages. But not NAR, just these little type of brokerages. They settled because you don't settle for $140 million because you feel like you're good, right? People settle for a lot less. So the judge overseeing the case has not done a final judgment. in the case, which could alter or even ban the cooperation compensation ruling, which basically, if you really look at the full definition of that, which we'll pop it up. I'm not a realtor, so I can't give you the full facts on that, but it's pretty much cooperating with the buyer and seller together to split the fee. That's going to change how everything's done. Now, I could see kind of some loans being put in with the buyer's agent, but we're going to we'll break that down really quick. Depending on the judgment, can mean that home sellers, this is important, that home sellers will not be responsible for paying the commission of both the listing and buyer's brokers. This is the biggest part here. So everyone knows when I sell my house, I usually have to pay the full 6%, which I think it's ridiculous. Okay. I think it's crazy. I have to pay the full 5% if it's 2.5. Now the listing agent only has to pay half, which I think is pretty cool. And so this is ruining I buy a house for no money at all. And that's one thing NAR is going after here. But this is going to change a lot. And this is going to change the way that wholesalers deal with real estate agents. This is going to completely change the way you wholesale on market. Isn't it kind of funny here that all the on-market wholesaling people, all the on-market, you can only wholesale on-market deal with agents, how they kind of shut up about this and they don't want to talk about it? They're scared, senseless. Every single real estate wholesaling person that sells a course on wholesaling on the MLS, they're in a corner right now crying. And they don't want to make a video on it because they're so scared and all these things. A lot of things are changing. So why do you think I always tell you, you want the money to be in your control? If you want to make money wholesaling real estate, now you only do dual agency, and that cooperation broker the commission filter. What is it? What was it called? Oh, the commission. No, that's concealment.
That's just a summary of it.
The NAR cooperation commission thing. I forgot the full name of it, but basically how that works is if you're wholesaling on the MLS with dual agency, a lot of stuff's going to change. And yeah, I just sold you a $9,000 course, and now I kind of, that $9,000 course doesn't work anymore. So I'm not telling you exactly I can't predict everything, but I can tell you the way you wholesale on market, MLS, is completely changing. And so when I wholesale off market, because I believe because I follow this thing called the Constitution of the United States of America, it's very hard to change the Constitution, right? Like it's very difficult to do it. Okay. And so for them to change how basically the law works in the United States of America, I can wholesale real estate all day, every day, no problem at all. There's not one law that has banned wholesaling real estate. There's not one. Some's regulated, but not too crazy. I mean, outside of Illinois, that's the only ones that's like a little weird. But outside of that, if I wholesale off market, there's not going to be a crazy judgment that changes everything. But when I have a broker daddy and I have NAR controlling how I wholesale houses, on market wholesaling gurus, something like this, boom, the way I make all my money completely changes like that. So this is why it's really important. I tell everyone to wholesale off market. But if you're looking at this straight up, well, let's kind of break down what this means, because we kind of broke it down. We gave you the justice part if you really want to read everything and like go in the really like crazy nitty gritty of it. But let's kind of break down exactly what this means for you, what this means for wholesaling, and what this means for the real estate industry in general. And there's a lot that's going to happen here. And we're going to kind of, what we just did in this first part is just gave you the facts. Now we're going to kind of give you our opinions and what we really see in the future to happen. So number one, buyer's agents they will change. Okay. The one thing we have to understand here is the way that buyer's agents work is fundamentally going to change. Now you can't, let me know if this is different. Like you can't go and just get half your fee. And so this is what buyer's agents do. Okay. And this is a little satire, but it's true. You want to buy a house? Let me find the highest commission I can possibly get because I'm a realtor and I'm broke and all I care about is money. I'm going to go to the 8% commission. Yes. You should buy this house. It's a great deal. It's a great deal. And guess what? And here's the cool part. Buyer's agents, yeah, they're for the client. But you think a buyer's agent is going to be on your behalf trying to negotiate half off the listing agreement? No, it's all about money with them. It's all about that moolah.
It's never been in their interest to do that.
It's always been in their interest for you to buy it for the highest commission possible. Same thing with the listing agent. There's one thing I hate about NAR. And so a lot of things are going to change. Now that the buyer's agent isn't free and I actually have to pay my realtor, it's going to change a lot. Now, I do see a lot of new services coming up. Those flat fee type people for $200, they'll show you around. That could happen too, but the way buyer's agents work is going to change. And the one thing there's a lot here. We'll kind of break it down, but I do see some crazy changes here. Number one, a lot of people are going to be paying their buyer's agents directly, right?
And you know what? I've been a huge advocate of this. And the argument from NAR and the realtors is, well, the average person won't be able to afford to buy a home. You know what? They probably couldn't afford it to begin with. Okay. Because if you can't come up with a $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 fee, why should the seller's agent negotiate what the buyer's agent should pay? Guys, I'm just telling you, the United States is the only place where you're forced to do this. Let me ask you, if you hire a lawyer, for the most part, you've got to fund it and pay it up front. How realtors got into this thing, honestly, this is the change that's needed to be done. It's actually going to be good for everyone. And I'm talking from a neutral standpoint. I bought plenty of property with a buyer's agent and the argument is it automatically inflates the price up. So what you're going to see with buyer's agent, guys, is, listen, let's face it, buyer's agent, you get a lead, you buy it from Zillow, you show a house, half of them don't even show the house, everything's done electronically, and they get a big fat commission. Because what's happened in the last, 5-6 years of real estate, the average home price has doubled. So 6% on a $450,000 house is now a tsunami of a commission. And buyer's agents listen, you go to another country, guys, and do you realize when you go to other countries, when somebody lists the property, they have to do everything. They actually have to pick up and go hunt for buyers. They make thousands of cold calls. Sound familiar like what we do as wholesalers? Buyer's agents are actually going to have to work tonight. And I think it's going to be a positive change. Let's face it, guys. A third grader could pass the real estate exam. The reason why there's so many realtors is because NAR wants their money. I'm not telling you to make it like the bar, but put some practical stuff in there you can teach people and stop hanging everything on this code of ethics, because big brother, you've put your code of ethics in it and it's blown up on you. The whole buyer's agents, think about this. When you get the closing disclosure, what's the first thing a real estate agent does? They look to see if their commission's correct. Do you think they look at the buyers and make sure everything's aligned with their mortgage, the price is right, the closing fees are right? No. That's the job of a lawyer and a mortgage broker, and they're all paid accordingly. How does the buyer's agent get paid the most out of that transaction? The services really aren't there. Yeah, maybe they're expert at negotiating the price, but the reality is they're based on commission. And if I'm going to be paid on commission, I want the highest price possible. I've always thought that system was upside down. Listen, guys, I'm not a realtor. I'm giving an unbiased opinion, but going forward, the whole buyer's agent, the way people do that, it's going to, well, I'll tell you where the fight's going to be. It's going to change everyone's directive in real estate. But the buyer's agent, it's going to be very interesting for the rest of this year, because every realtor is going to be freaked out to pay a buyer's agent on a HUD right now. I know closings are probably getting screwed up today to figure out how to navigate through this, because the reality is any real estate agent that collects a buyer's agent that's specially part of NAR, they are susceptible to this lawsuit. The reality is, why are they chasing the RE/MAX and the big people? Because that's where the money is. But it's just a matter of time before your local lawyers get a hold of this stuff and go, hey, have you ever paid a buyer's agent? Join us and we'll go chase them down for you. Listen, lawyers jump on a bandwagon. I'm not a huge fan of lawyers. Like, let's face it, they're getting a huge piece of this pie. But guys, the buyer's agent, if you're a buyer's agent, you're going to have to reinvent on how you work. And I actually think it's positive, because it's going to provide more valuable services and it's going to give a more unbiased opinion to get the best real estate possible with much more services other than showing you a property on MLS through NAR.
Okay. So I get a lot of people in the comments. They're sad now. The realtors. Oh, that means that people that have no money can't buy their first home. I think it's hilarious. So let me tell you the truth here. If you were buying a house, and let's say I'm buying my first home, it's $100,000 house. I'd have no money, and I'm gonna have to pay everyone thinks I have to pay $2,500 to my realtor to be the buyer's agent. That's gonna hurt me. It's not. What you're going to do is when you get a loan or something, your lender is going to probably bake in that buyer's agent commission into the loan. But here's the cool part. This is going to drastically, and I hate to tell you, drastically reduce the amount of commissions that realtors as a whole, as an industry, makes. That's kind of scary. But NAR has done something over the past 50 years. They've inflated commissions like crazy. And they've just made it crazy. They've just made it stupid. Okay. Absolutely stupid. And I truly, in my opinion, and I'm going to get in trouble for this, I really don't believe realtors provide as much value as you think. I would say about 5 to 12%. In my market, it's about 11% of all real estate agents provide most of the good stuff. The ones that are actually moving the economy, the ones that are actually really good at buyers. I would say 92% of all agents in real estate do not really positively create anything good to this economy for real estate. They don't do much. They're pretty lazy bums. Now, there's 8% that are hustlers. I'll tell you, they're the ones making stuff happen. They're actually working. And those people they get paid very fairly. And these are realtors making millions of dollars. But the ones that don't want to work with wholesalers, they just want to inflate all the prices, don't do anything, they make it worse. So what's going to happen is the commissions are going to go down. And I don't mind it. I think we have too many realtors out here. I think there's just way too many.
1.4 million NAR members. And what happens when that gets cut massively down? Because people don't see the value.
Well, so the problem is 1.4 million. The NAR will charge you hundreds of dollars. You got to pay your broker. There's all these like stupid little insurance. There's just such nickel and diming NAR does. So they can go to the government and try to lobby more stuff. They steal a lot of money and they really rip a lot of real estate agents off. And so I like to see this. Now we're going to ask a lot of questions. How does this affect wholesaling? We're getting into it. Don't worry. What I'm saying is this is going to change how real estate agents are being paid. And here's the thing that's going to change wholesaling a lot. Now at the end, we're doing the big wholesaling thing, but here's one thing. No one's going to want to be a buyer's agent right now. No one. And what does that mean?
I think they're gone overnight.
Basically, all the buyer's agents are going to just want to do listings. What does that mean? When the competition doubles overnight for realtors, guess what happens? When competition usually doubles, you make less money. The average realtor makes less money because there's just double the competition.
Correct. You can negotiate much more now.
Guess what it means? That means realtors are going to get a lot, not a little more, a lot more desperate. And those are the ones that are making the six-figure realtors. Their income might be going down in half. What are you going to do about the realtor that's broke though? 18 or 19 years old. It's going to be even harder for them.
Remember, there's entire brokerages built on the buyer's agent. They have these teams and they've played within the rules, but the rules have been changed now.
And so what this basically means is because there's more competition for being a realtor because no one wants to be a buyer's agent, these realtors are going to get more desperate. And have you ever heard of a motivated seller? Because their situation gets desperate, they're willing to get rid of their house for a discount because of certain factors. Most realtors, when you call them and try to get to work with them for wholesaling, no, I just want to go click my listing agreement button and just sit back and let the buyer's agent do all the work while I sit around and do nothing all day. That's what realtor, like if I'm a listing agent, I find most of my job is marketing, which is really kind of stupid, but that's not being a realtor. It's all marketing. And then you click your little buttons on the MLS. You click it, you put your little commission, you drink your Starbucks latte, and you get your little Mercedes or BMW, and you just do your little open houses on the weekends, buy some cupcakes, and then you just let the buyer's agent, you click the MLS button and just let everyone do all the work for you. And then you sit back and make sure your commission's good at the end of the day. For 95% of what a realtor does, it's just looking good. That's pretty much what it is. They got the dress, the hair,
they look good.
I'm kind of kidding, but like that's kind of most of their work is just looking good, right? That's what they do. Now these realtors are actually going to have to work. Us wholesalers, we work to get real estate deals. We work to get stuff done. Realtors have never really done that in the past 20 years. Now, because of this, they're going to have to do it, which basically means when I talk to a realtor to see if they want to work with wholesalers and actually provide some good service in the community, they always say no, because literally, this is what realtors basically think. Why would I want to work harder to help a wholesaler and me out when I can just sit on my butt all day and just click a button to add listings on my agreement?
Guys, keep in mind the average listing is sold automatically by this MLS agreement system.
The realtors
and
don't
once
do
that
anything.
goes away, now they actually have to go out and find buyers. Now, some say
Yeah.
this is going to make a competitive advantage for the big firms because they got thousands of realtors and they're going to try to do it in-house. But the reality is they're going to have to go out and actually find cash buyers, not cash buyers, but just buyers. Does it sound familiar? This is what wholesalers have always done. And I don't feel sorry for them because the reality is you're actually going to have to pay for advertising outside of MLS and NAR.
Yeah.
You are going to have to spend real money and show sellers, I'm going to go out and do everything I can to find the best buyer for this property in this community. And MLS has been this one inclusive thing. You push a button. I got to be honest, I was a realtor. I would be ticked off because it was actually really convenient. But this is the truth. The reality is what this entire lawsuit is saying is MLS with NAR is all we've done is pay for access. That's it. And now that the access is going to be ripped apart, we're going to have to reinvent how we do this. This is actually a good thing, guys, because with the internet, with all the tools, we talk about AI and stuff. How much does the average homeowner actually need a buyer's real estate agent? I mean, people are not completely stupid. Like, you can figure stuff out. You need a lawyer to look over your documents in a title company, depending on what state in, and you use a mortgage broker to help you qualify for the mortgage. And I think you're going to see a lot of changes in the services in those two industries, which I think is going to be advantageous for the average American home buyer. I'm tired of realtors telling us this is just going to destroy the real estate market. It's not. Innovation needs to come. And the only way innovation gets stifled is when you have a trade association lock it down.
Okay, so back to my point on how this is going to affect wholesaling. Basically, this means most realtors, when you go try to talk to them, they say no because I want to be a lazy bum and just click buttons all day for my listing. Because they're more desperate, there's going to be more listings. They're going to be a lot more willing to work with you because now they're not realtors. They're called motivated realtors. Okay, the realtors I always worked with, I literally call them motivated realtors. You're not even motivated. You have a seller. Seller wants to sell for the most, but a motivated seller, they need money now. And so I like talking to, now there's going to be a lot more motivated realtors who actually want to help you find good deals, actually will put work into finding deals. Have you ever, I see a lot of YouTubers talk about how you talk to agents and do this. What they basically do is they ask an agent, hey, can you help me find good deals on the MLS that are undervalued? Guess what they do? Realtors will go to the MLS, highest commission, 8%. Okay, cool. This is a good deal. This is a good deal. Give me my commission. That's what they do. Okay, they're just lazy bums. And not all of them, but a lot of these people, now that they're actually motivated, they're actually going to have to work more than 15 hours a week. And they spend most of the time at the nail salon and the hair salon, but like they're actually going to have to work to get deals. Wholesalers work to get deals. Realtors really haven't. This is going to change a lot. So this is huge. Why is commissions going to go down? Because they don't be inflated. They just got caught with their pants down here showing that they've been inflating prices. You got to remember, in the United States of America, real estate commissions because of NAR, they have about twice as much commissions as the average real estate sale, which is crazy, right?
Yeah, go outside the United States and buy a piece of real estate.
Commissions
People are in shock when they come to the United States because the commission structure is so robust. You go to any other country and like when somebody lists it, they have to go out and find a buyer and they provide an amazing service and it's still significantly cheaper. But all we know is the US system and what NAR's provided for us. So this lawsuit, in my opinion, shed a lot of light. Once again, it is about access, guys. And there has not been a fair playing field for access to real estate across 95% of the US real estate market. And I'm glad there's a light being shed. Do I agree how everything's going down? No, there's a lot of money being made by lawyers and all sorts of people. But
let me tell you the truth why I think realtors are lazy. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. I know an 18-year-old agent that through a family friend got a $950,000 listing. This was an old neighborhood we used to live in, right? It was like $950,000 a listing. And the 18-year-old dude who knew nothing about he just got his license because it takes nothing. All that he did, he got it sold, not because he's so good. He paid someone $100 to take pictures. He added a description of the property and he clicked the listing button, and then a buyer's agent just came in and did the work. So did that 18-year-old who literally, 2 weeks before the listing happened, did he magically get really good at selling property? Or no, he just clicked the stupid button because that's how NAR did it. And so the truth is, like, those 18-year-olds won't be like 18-year-old wholesalers that don't want to work hard. They don't get deals.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think NAR has such a low bar? Listen, taking the real estate test, I hate to tell you guys, it is not hard. That's not
sanctioned by NAR, though.
No, I know, but they require them to be licensed. But like, you have to pay the fees. You got to pay everything. If you don't pay the fees, you don't get access. And so understanding, you can be a licensed real estate agent and not be a realtor, but you can't be the other way around. And I think that's where the argument is, people's like, listen, they polled NAR members. 80% of the people think they're getting ripped off by NAR, and they still ignore them. And here we are. NAR's like, it'll never happen. It happened. We are here. And you know what? I think change is good. Change needs to happen. Guys, I used to have landline phones. I used to have to go to a realtor's office when I started in 2003, when I did wholesaling. It was the only way. I had to open up a booklet and find it. And now look at us now. Internet, AI. What services does a buyer's agent really represent? I know there's some elite ones out there, but for the most part, anyone who gets their license and pays their NAR fees, they get access to any property of 95% across the country. And that's why we're at this level right now. So
what we're talking about here is commissions are going to go down. And so I get asked a lot. This is a funny one. For two guys doing well, why are you just so against realtors? I'm not against realtors, but I'm against how I am against realtors. I support real estate agents. I do not support realtors. Okay. You got to remember that they're different. Realtors is just basically someone on a union. It's a trade union. And they got real estate agents who are actually the ones doing the actual work. So the truth here is, do I like football players? I love football players. Do I love New York Jets football players? No. There's a difference between the two. Okay. I respect the athlete, not the team that they're playing for. Okay. That's kind of the truth. And so what you got to understand here is realtors don't like working with wholesalers because realtors only care about their money, and then they're lazy. If realtors actually have to work, they will actually work with wholesalers and make everyone more money. And this is exactly what's happening. And real estate agents don't try to ban wholesaling. The only people that hate wholesalers that try to ban them are always the association, because NAR only cares about them making money. They don't care, and they're in bed with the government trying to do this. Now the government's going after them for antitrust. This is great. And so what we got to understand here is a lot of stuff's happening, a lot of stuff's changing. Now,
I mean, how many realtors are part of NAR because they kind of got forced into it? A lot of realtors don't even think they have a choice. And like they don't understand they have options. Now you will have options.
Exactly. And so let's kind of talk about the damages here. There's going to be about $1.8 to $5.8 billion in damages. If mommy and daddy are making $200,000 a year and they get hit with a $1.8 million fine, do you think they can pay that fine?
That's a lot of money.
No,
there's very few companies that could cover that fine.
If mom and dad make $200,000, and then there is a $5.8 million bill they have to pay.
Billion.
No. Bill. I'm using numbers.
Okay.
If you make $250,000 a year,
mm-hmm.
and then you get hit with a $5.8 million bill,
mm-hmm.
can you pay that?
No,
you don't. And you only have $50,000 in your bank account. What do you do when that happens? You should go bankrupt. That's usually I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but here's the problem. There's a huge elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. If there's the $2 billion that has to be paid off of a final judgment, which we don't know the exact number that's going to happen in a week or two, we'll know.
Yeah.
But it's going to be at minimum about $1.8 billion at minimum, all the way up to 5.8, which could even be crazy. That's only one lawsuit. NAR doesn't have the money for it.
They don't.
But guess what they did? Because they are a trade union, which I already told you what I think about trade unions. Guess who they're going to punish instead, since NAR can't pay it? They're going after the members. The members are going to have to pay this, which is really interesting, because it's like, are they going to make every member pay? Or are they only going to make the members that do the most amount of deals pay?
And keep in
mind, we don't know.
80% of the members are already ticked off with the ridiculous fees already set in NAR. So guys, you tell me it's a math problem. Who do you think's going to pay this bill? Something's got to give. I don't care. No matter how this works out, there's going to be a lot of money owed. And remember, it is a trade association. Okay. It is for the members. So if you were a member of NAR, this is part of your bill.
So I believe if you have a $5.8 billion bill and you only collect $250 million a year, that is what? I don't know. I'm doing the math probably wrong. I mean, it's like 20, 30x your annual revenue. You're probably going to have to go. This is how kind of HOAs work, right? I know this is not the perfect one, but if there's too much of bill, they kind of do an assessment. And I feel like the $2,100 assessment on every member is going to not be good. And so this is getting really dicey,
significantly
right?
more than that.
And because NAR just did this, they're in trouble. And I don't think it's fair for NAR to actually pay for that, because the people making NAR doesn't get a percentage like McDonald's of the revenue of the realtor, which I do give them credit for. I personally feel like they're going to go after the realtors for this. And 1.8 billion is a lot. It's a lot. So what you got to understand is the members most likely are going to have to pay this. And this could be the end of NAR. This could be the end of realtors in general. Here's the problem. They're not a corporation like GM, General Motors, that can go bankrupt to restructure the debt and stay up. This is a trade union. They're not a corporation. Well, it's a 501c6, I believe. So
they have a lot of salaries.
They have a lot of salaries. This could end them, or this could restructure their debt or whatever, but this is going to change a lot. And what I basically see is I feel like they're going to make a lot of the members pay, and a lot of bad stuff's going to happen here. So you got to be very, very careful. But this brings up a point I want you guys to really understand. If there is a wholesaling unionization that ever happens, that creates a target on wholesalers' backs. And when an inevitable lawyer wants to sue wholesalers, they're not going to go after individual wholesalers. They don't go after individual realtors. There's no money in that. They're going to go after all wholesalers as a general. And then guess what happens? They're going to take your assignment fees. This is the one thing, and this is one point that no guru will ever tell you. When you are a member of NAR, that is your fraternity. That is your frat.
Sorority.
No, it's a frat. It's not a sorority. It's a frat. Frats are worse. What do I mean by this? When you join a frat, the frat has stupid rules. We're going to paddle you 10 times and you're going to drink all day. You're going to do 10 shots of this and that. Oh, I don't want to do it. Well, you're in the frat. You agree to the rules. You do the secret ritual.
I was in the frat.
That's what NAR does. Okay, if you do something I don't like, I'm going to take away your commission. And guess what they've done? They've done that.
Oh, yeah.
NAR has taken real estate wholesaling assignment fees away. Can they legally do that? Actually, yes, because you signed something stating to be a part of NAR, you can have your special board. Even if I legally wholesaled houses, if you didn't like the way I did it,
they oversee you.
You can oversee it.
It's your new mom and dad.
So I call it's a new mom and dad, but I call it a broker daddy because they're your new daddy. And they tell you what, oh, give me $100. They can do it. And if you join a wholesaling unionization thing, that wholesaling union, for probably insurance purposes with a lawsuit, they're going to try to take your assignment fee away if they ever get assessed. And no one sues wholesalers in general because we're not unionized. Do you go after every single person that owns a piece of real estate? No, because there's no real estate renters union, right?
Yeah,
there's BlackRock and companies, but there's no union of people that own real estate rentals, really. And so that's why people that own rental property, they're bigger than all the realtors, probably not realtors, but they're bigger than all the wholesalers. Why don't they have a union? Because if every single landlord joined a union, that union would be sued every single day, right?
Guys,
so if I had a landlord that screwed me over my thing, I'm going to go after the union and try to do a class action with all the landlords, right?
Yeah.
It creates a target. So if you want to join a wholesaling unionization thing, you're accepting for your assignment fees to be taken away. We're literally seeing the start of realtors going to get fined and their members because of this huge $5.8 billion in damages. What happens if a wholesaling union gets $500 million in damages? Are they going to pay it?
No, the members are going to pay it. Guys, we've always said, listen, I'm all about the wholesaler. But the reality is history repeats itself. If entrepreneurs get a trade association like this, and I think most of them start out with like good intentions, but it gets out of control. And then you got to start conforming to their training, and you got to do it this way. And if you don't do it, oh, and here's a fee and we had to increase it. Oh, we got a lawsuit. We got to pay this. And before you know it, you put a target on your back. And it goes against everything we do as entrepreneurs. If it was that simple, I would have started it myself. I anticipated this problem long time ago, and I'm shocked that NAR got held accountable. But this is why we talk about trade associations and why they're detrimental to people like us. The reality is it puts a target on your back, and then everybody has to conform to someone's rules. Listen, the reality is wholesaling is created so we can create the lifestyles we all want. So you're going to tell me some group of board members are going to say, you've got to do it this way, and this is the training we're going to do it. I don't want to wind up like NAR. And this is one of the reasons, guys, don't repeat history. I'm just here to tell you, the members are the ones that are going to be punished. So if you become a member of an organization that tells you what to do, you kind of asked for it when you joined.
This is why we don't like NAR, and this is why I'm just telling you, be careful. So could NAR go bankrupt? I don't know. We really got to see how the final judgment goes on this. If the final judgment is $1.8 billion, I know that I don't think they have that money, and so we got to see how they do it. But this is only one lawsuit. There's going to be a lot more. And so they will appeal this. I'll tell you this. NAR will appeal it. They basically, let's kind of be unbiased here. NAR actually gave a statement of what they thought would happen. And so let me share exactly their response to this case. So this is from the president of NAR. And so let's kind of share this here. Let's go here. And kind of see what they said about this, right? Because they have their own opinion. They have their own thoughts on this. But basically, in court, NAR presented evidence that consumers are better off. So they believe consumers are better off with them, right? And then the other people kind of saw it as they're ruining the consumer. So they're kind of basically their own thing, right? Competition. They have their own stuff, blah, blah, blah. So here's kind of their answers. This matter is not close to being final, as we will appeal the verdict. And they remain confident that we will ultimately prevail. Here's the cool part. Have you ever talked to a plaintiff lawyer? I'm confident we will prevail. Have you ever talked to the defense lawyer? I'm confident we will prevail. They're both pretty confident. 50% of lawyers lose. And I'll tell you, the realtor lawyer here was pretty confident that he'd win this case too. They
were overconfident. They told him this would never, ever even have a slight remote chance. And if you guys have done the research on this Catchmark attorney, he's not playing around. Am I crazy about he's going to get between a third and 40% of this money, and then the homeowners wind up getting like $2,100? It's
still pretty good.
It's just, those are the rules. He's playing by them. Listen, it's nuts. And so when you guys read all these articles, I saw a ton of responses from people that are licensed realtors. And we're just trying to give you the neutrality in that. There's two sides to every story, and no matter how you look at it, but like, remember, when you come too big for your britches and you tell everybody what to do, eventually sometimes the little guy wins. And no matter what, even if they adjust the damages, once that case precedence is set, like, so where do we operate? Say it takes 2 to 5 years to do the final settlement of it. What happens between now and then?
And so, well, we're reading this.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is what NAR is saying. So they can't tell you what they feel the appeals, the basis of it, but they're working on it, right? Basically because one is the buyer's representation agreements, which maximize transparency in writing to maximize, in my opinion, maximizes transparency to the other realtor, the buyer's agent, the buyer, not the buyer's agent. The buyer doesn't really see this. It's kind of interesting, but the verdict does not require a change in our rules. That's really important though. Okay. The verdict does not change any of the rules, but it's the final judgment. So the judge has a final judgment in the case. So the verdict doesn't change anything, but the judge can make a judgment saying that rule is unethical or illegal. And then, so the judge can change it, not the verdict. So they're being a little sly on the way they're saying this. They're not trying to freak people out. I get it. But the class action attorneys had their way. Buyer representation would be very much at risk because many first-time home buyers couldn't afford to pay. So let me talk about this part really quick. A lot of people think that first-time home buyers, they need to have it for free, and that's great. Here's the problem. when you double when you inflate commission. So if I'm a first time home buyer and I buy a house for $100,000 and I pay, let's say 3%, $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if commissions go down to $1,500 and I bake that right into my, basically my loan, I'm paying $1,500 less over the term of the loan. And if I'm buying a $400, $500, $700 house, that's $15,000 you save over. That's thousands of dollars a year the end consumer saves. So yeah, maybe my $2,000 a month mortgage, okay, is going to be $1,800, and that $200 is what the consumer saves. That helps them buy diapers, food, supplies, things that actually make their life better. And so yeah, realtors make it seem like it's perfect. No, the first time buyers are probably going to have the lender bake in the buyer fee, and commissions are going to go down, which at the end of the day is going to help more people that are broke get homes. And so this is the realtors, but they get less commissions here, so they don't like it. You got to remember, who pays the commission? The person buying the house.
That's it. That's the person
who
pays.
The person that's buying the house, that extra money they're going to save, they're going to spend towards diapers and things that are actually needed. And then the realtor can't spend the extra $200 a month on hair and nail salons appointments, which usually happens. FYI. Have you seen some realtors' hair? It's
nice, dude.
It's really nice.
No, don't get me wrong.
They get a haircut every week. It's crazy.
What women have to pay for their hair is like a whole nother lawsuit. We need to talk about it.
I'm talking about the dudes.
Some of them get their nails done.
They get their nails done and everything. They get little BMW. So yeah, the BMWs are not going to be as popular. If I was a Mercedes salesman, this is going to be a tough day for me. But the end consumer usually saves money on it. So let's keep talking about what the realtor, the president basically says here. Where's the president? I think this gal makes millions of dollars too. It's kind of funny.
And I believe she got thrown in the middle of it.
Is there any scenario where NAR considers settling? NAR has always been open to a resolution to maintain a way for buyers and sellers to continue to benefit from cooperation. And that being said, we remain confident that we will. So they didn't even answer if they would settle.
If they were smart, they would have settled before this even got to this point and fixed it. But they were very confident, because you guys got to understand, the biggest industry they drive is the lobbying. And you guys know how lobbying works. It's where you basically pay people to go after politicians to get whatever you want. You and me can't do that. We don't have that power. You have to have millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars backing it. And that's where the real power in NAR is.
And so you look here, would NAR ever change the compensation rule? The rule has always been in place to protect the best interests of consumers, which I don't believe, but whatever. Support market-driven pricing, blah, 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 blah. They consistently review and consider evolving its rules in a way that responds to changes. So basically they're going to say is, if we need to change it, we're going to change it. That's what we cannot predict what the plaintiffs would do. Wait, do you expect the plaintiffs to seek an injunction that required NAR to stop making the rule mandatory or eliminate the rule altogether? We cannot predict what the plaintiffs would do, but we contest any such effort. Here's the best one. What's the status of the DOJ that has anything changed with this verdict? We reached an agreement with the DOJ nearly 2 years ago. NAR is upheld by our end of the agreement. They expect a lot. The DOJ do the same as infirmed by the federal court case careful ruling. This is a separate matter from this current case.
But hold on, guys. The DOJ has been named a special interest. In this case, 2 other cases, and the one filed for November 1st. That means the DOJ is looking to get their hands back on it, because they settled with the DOJ, but now the DOJ sees a verdict, and now they're going to come and put their claws on real estate capitalism. And the DOJ, when they drop stuff down on you, it's the federal government coming down on you. The only one that can really force them to make changes. So why is the DOJ suddenly reinterested if they settled with them? That's not a good sign for NAR, period.
So it's going to be interesting. So they're going to appeal it. We're going to see what happens. The next part we got to talk about is this stupid lockbox rule.
Oh, yes. This is great.
So NAR, basically how it works is if you're a realtor, you can only let other realtors basically open the lockbox, right? I mean,
and they say it's for the security interest of the owner only.
Well, limiting access to lockboxes that provide licensed broker physical access to a home that is for sale only to those brokers who are members of a NAR affiliated MLS. So basically, if you're wholesaling an MLS property, if you're not paying Broker Daddy, you cannot wholesale houses.
We talked about access,
You can't
guys,
wholesale
right?
MLS horses with a realtor.
It's not fair
Crazy.
access. Only NAR
That hurts
members get
wholesalers.
access to these lockboxes. And don't get me started on the Supra ones.
If you don't have your special R pin, you can't actually deal with the lockbox, which is crazy. And it's for protection. Well, it's for protection, but you can always just give your name and your license basically to a realtor to look at it. Like, it's not illegal to go look at a house.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny how that works, but this will change how you can wholesale on the MLS. Usually you need someone with a little pin to help you out, and it's going to make some crazy changes. And so let's kind of get into how this changes wholesaling specifically. So we kind of talked about the first part, how buyer's agents are going to change. So if you are looking to actually get more cash buyers, I would say your buyer's agents are going to be very desperate to get more, basically, buyers closings.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a real estate wholesaling deal locked up under contract right now and you need to sell it, you can actually go to the realtor, pay them a marketing fee for bringing you the buyer,
Consulting fee, marketing fee,
whatever you want to call it. And guess what? They will actually work their butts off because there's so much competition right now to actually bring that buyer to you. And remember what realtors only care about: money. So if you have a deal locked up for 100 grand, you want to sell it for 130, you can offer the realtor 15 grand, and they'll tell their buyer to go do it, because all those buyers agents care about is money. And so the cool part is buyers agents will be a lot more nicer to you now, and they're actually going to want to work with you. And so you can get 10 or 15 buyers agents to actually start trying to actually provide buyers to get your deal sold. That's pretty cool, right?
No, because guys, it's going to be the same net number anyways. It's just now you have a fiduciary responsibility to the buyer's agents. You have to negotiate and come up. And listen, if I need something sold quick and I got to move fast, I'm going to compensate them whatever I think a fair amount's going to be. And what that is between you and them, I actually love this, because now you can actually hire a buyer's agent to actually go to
hire,
work.
but I mean,
consult.
And so like you can get a lot of buyers. So how do you get buyer's agents? Right. It's pretty easy. You go to like listrei.com, zacdata.com, go to cash sales, and you actually find MLS cash sales, find the buyer's agents, and actually just cold call these people up. And guess what? They're the ones crying right now. They're the ones you can use to actually get this going. And they're actually going to be more willing to work with you because they can't be lazy bums. So this is huge for wholesaling. This is great. Next, let's talk about the guru spin, wholesaling MLS on market properties. Some big changes going on here, right?
I would stop whatever you're doing right now, man, because it's
not stop,
but you're really going to have to pay attention to how you pay realtors, because I think the realtors are going to be freaked out, and I don't blame them for it because they have to control it, but we have to find it. I'm just saying the status quo has changed. And so we're all put on notice. This isn't my favorite method to do it. I've never hid that from anyone, but it's already hard enough as it is. And now we're throwing this little wrinkle into it. I'm just saying you're going to have to pay attention very carefully.
So
now.
Most people use dual agency, which outside of the 12 states you can do. Basically, you give the listing agent an agreement where they're the buyer's agent too. It's going to change some stuff on market though. Okay, so if you're doing on market, you can't do the fair cooperation. I mean, you can still today. Legally, the final judgment hasn't been done, so theoretically, but things are going to be changing. They just can't have three. So you go to a regular realtor right now and you try to get, hey, can you be the buyer's agent too? Guess what they're going to say? Okay, well, my listings agreement 3%, so I have to do 3%, so 6%. Yes. That's okay. Okay, that's good. So let's kind of like do the paper here. If I have a wholesale deal that is locked up for $100,000, and I know that a cash buyer will buy it for $70,000, if I lock it up for 60, I could sell it for 70, make 10 grand, right? That's how it works. Now, what if I go out here and offer to the math here, right? Okay, so I'm doing the math here. And let's say I try to offer 50 grand on the house, but I agree to pay the realtor a full 10% commission. 5 grand. Whoa, right? Can I do that now? Yeah, I don't have to do 6% anymore. I can give them their 3%, and then I can give them 7% out of my assignment fee for that. Not 7%. I can give them $7,000. Guess what that means? Now I don't have to pay them 6. I can pay them 10%. And guess what real estate agents care about? Money. Which means they're way more willing to work with you on that $50,000 offer than any Joe Schmo with the full price offer. And you know that's how realtors work. So I'm just telling you right now, you can offer to pay the realtor more on dual agency than before in the past, which helps you go out here. So I'm just telling you, wholesaling on the MLS are going to have some big changes. This is going to change dual agency. It's going to change a lot of things. But if you're wholesaling on the MLS, it's going to get most likely easier and harder at the same time. We really got to see how things pan out here, but I do see some big changes, more class action lawsuits, stuff like this. If you're wholesaling off market, nothing too insane, except you can start using realtors as your buyers a lot more. And we're going to do more content on this because I feel like they're going to be a lot more they're going to be a lot more cooperative to work with you. And so if you ever wholesaled the past 7 years like I have, most real estate agents don't want to work with you.
Hatfield McCoy.
But now they're getting desperate. They're going to want to work with you here. And so this works really well. And this is what I'm pretty excited about. And I love talking to 18, 19-year-old real estate agents that really don't know anything, but they're willing to work and they'll find me buyers. Now I can go after the 40-year-old ones that have all the buyers and they're going to be very, very stressed out for this.
So guys, keep in mind this. Chaos creates opportunity for us wholesalers. And we need to rise above it and find a way to help fill any gaps, because I think there's going to be a lot of hesitation. What can I do? What can I not do? The really cool thing is if you learn wholesaling, you're responsible for finding your sellers. You're responsible for finding your buyers. And now maybe we have an opening. We can actually work with real estate agents and stop trying to kill each other. I think this is going to be a huge win for wholesaling. And you know where my allegiance lies on it. I think this industries need to be changed for a long time, guys. This one-sided thing where everything had to go through an association with their set rules, it's going to be ripped apart. Be the agent of change. Chaos creates opportunity. It always has in the 21 years I've been doing this. So you should be excited. You should not be fearful. And don't grab all these like clickbait things like everything's going to fall apart. I think at any time I've ever had a massive change in real estate, I've made a ton of money.
Well, wholesaling's fine here. It's just being that realtor type thing. That's the funny part. So,
and you know what? I think honestly, this might give us a break as wholesalers. We've had a lot of scrutiny from NAR with lobbyists. They got their hands full for the next 3 to 5 years. So this is the time to really double down on wholesaling. Go service your sellers. Remember, we don't make people sell us their house. We solve problems. We go find our buyers. And I think this creates a great opportunity for us.
Oh, yeah. So, guys, go to freewholesaling.com or free wholesaling course if you want to learn wholesaling. If you are a realtor right now and, you just got in trouble, learn wholesaling. Go right there, freewholesaling.com. So, let's answer some questions here. Jason says, closing my first deal.
Yes.
On the 17th. Thanks, Rick and Zach.
Awesome,
Love
Jason.
it. Awesome. I'm excited. So, yeah. So Life Beyond the Ring says, yes, buyer. Some brokers do shop commissions. This is how they determine they do it.
They do. I've seen it plenty.
Oh, I know. It's so funny. But Amelia says, yes, that's true. I can't call myself a realtor unless I pay a fee that allows me to get an access to the MLS. And I've always hated it. I hate the EX key. I pay $1,200 a year for this BS.
It's crazy.
It's nuts. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. And they do it because they can. All right. So are you worried that NAR may go after wholesaling? No.
They got their hands full. I think they're trying to figure out how to stay afloat in this.
Well, not that. They're a trade association. They're not any. They just can't. They can't lobby against wholesaling because they might go bankrupt. Oopsie daisies. Listing agents 100% benefit from this decision. What is sad is how low income buyers will be required to pay a broker commission. It'll be in the fee with the lending. So don't worry about that.
No.
Also, you got to remember this. This will not benefit listing agents at all because all the buyers agents are going to go into the listing space too.
A lot more competition.
So this will not benefit any. No, I think this could cause home prices to drop. Not really. You got to remember this. If a house is sold for $400,000, guess what? And now it sells for $390,000, but you don't have to pay you don't have to pay 12% commissions. You actually net more money. So when you get commissions out of it, it actually, it does fall, but you got to remember that even if I sold it for more money, I just paid off the commission. So I'm not scared of it. Boost your seat, Ron. I've always said this forever. That bill in Maryland was withdrawn, of course, because it was unethical. It was illegal. Maryland had a law, they were trying to ban wholesaling. And basically everyone saw that, said, that's really stupid. That's really that's dumb. And that's a left-wing state. If you really look at it, right? They basically said, no, we don't what? No. And it got withdrawn because they had no support because it was such a stupid written law. And guess what? There's only one state that actually pushed it hard, and that was the state that NAR is based out of. Shocker. Illinois, right?
Yeah.
Every other state, you can't do it. It never passed because it's so stupid. It's against the Constitution. It's never enforced. So I've seen some people make videos on that saying, oh, wholesaling's over. Go, but it got withdrawn. I already told you what's going to happen. NAR, never about the ethics. It's all about monopolizing, making money. I think they had good intentions starting out, but obviously greed and money always comes in to play, and that was the problem. The real JC says, yes, NAR's been getting over, and they've been selling realtors out. Here's the funny part, JC. They haven't been selling realtors out at all. They're selling real estate agents out. You got to remember, guys, I've said this before.
Yeah.
Realtor is a marketing term. It's a trademarked name. It's not a real word. It's a fake. It's like wholesaling tour.
Maybe it becomes a bad thing to be a realtor. How is it? What's the correct pronunciation?
Realtor. It's not even a real word. It's a made up word from a trade union. It's crazy. It's like I'm a teamster. They're like, what does that mean?
I don't know.
Jason, what's up, Zach and Rick? Just signed a assignment of contract with the buyer for a fee of $25,500.
That's awesome.
Woo!
Jason's a great guy too.
You know why? Because Jason was at a live event a week and a half ago, and I told him how to show his butt up and make some more money.
What a blast we had there.
So love to see it. Love helping him out. Awesome. Ooh. Raquel says, I closed my second deal, $21,000 assignment fee. Thanks, Rick and Zach, for all you provide for wholesaling. Third closing is a land deal this month. My son, Sam, is my business partner. I love to see stuff like that, guys.
That's awesome.
Guys, there's a reason why no other wholesaler on YouTube will ever get as much. We provide more first deals, second deals, 100. There's not one wholesaler that's made more money with us than anyone else. What I mean by that is, we have the most amount of students.
Click George.
We have the most amount of wholesaling success. George says 4 deals under contract this month. Thanks, Rick and Zach. Awesome. Oh, George is on here.
There he
George.
is.
See if he decides to show up. Hello.
There he is.
What's up, guys?
What's up, George? How you doing, man?
Good, man. I was just packing my gym bag while listening to you guys.
Awesome. So 4 deals under contract, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. I got a land deal assigned yesterday. 3 more like a couple of weeks ago. I'm in the southern Wisconsin market.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane,
There's a
man.
lot of people doing well in Wisconsin.
How long have you been wholesaling for?
I started, my first deal was in August, but that took me a few months to get.
Dude, that's crazy, Matt. We got to put you on the podcast. I want to hear a full story, man.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to show the HUDs, which I think you can.
What's the temperature there right now?
Well, I live in Chicago.
Okay, that's still cold, man.
I actually just became part of NAR a couple weeks ago.
Congrats.
So this news was not the best for me, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like, listen, we give you the unbiased report on it, but don't let that bog you down. Just, keep doing what you're doing. And I'm truly happy for you, because if you started in August, you already got 4 under contract. You're definitely taking action, I can tell. So congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Awesome, man. Well, go email me. I want to see you on the podcast. We'll go talk about it, man. I'm excited.
It'll be fun.
Okay,
man. Awesome.
Getting people on. This is awesome.
So guys, don't let NAR distract you. Go out and do deals. Actually, there's never been a better time than to do it now, because all people are like, you just sit here and talk about this NAR. Don't let this replace your wholesale. Just do it. And when people tell it, now you have the facts of what's going on, and you can give. Once you know both sides of the story, then you make your decision on how you want to respond. But don't waste your time, because There's going to be a lot of gossip going on both sides. It's going to get nothing done. Like we have to go out and do our wholesaling business.
I would love to see it. I'd love to see someone else talk about this in wholesaling. I mean, no one else will. So why do me and Rick have to be the voice of reason on this? It's ridiculous. We're two crazy people. Why do we have to be the ones that are reasonable? What's up? Closing a $20,000 deal right now. Love watching. Oh my goodness.
That's good.
Hundreds of thousands are being made just on this live stream. So,
this is crazy, man. Look at them all.
Oh, it's awesome. It's all because we're clowning the realtors today. It's pretty exciting. Love to see it. Zach, are you still using launch control where there's opt-out language? Of course. Go to another one, right? If you're scared of opt-out language, I would recommend you just use Google Voice. Oh, but I want to send 2,000 texts a day. Well, then go use launch control. I don't know what to tell you. Launch control does everything legally they can, and they're in the best case for the wholesalers when it comes to texting. Go join any other one. Launch control, smsac.com still is the best one if you want to use a paid SMS platform. I think it's so for, oh, but they're doing that. Well, go leave. Make less texters go out here if possible. Make it better. I always think it's funny when people do that. What's going on this way? Guys, when you see something, everyone thinks it's a fearful thing. There's a lot better stuff on here. The live event really gave me a boost. Awesome. Love to see that. Cool. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. I actually don't see real estate prices going down because of this at all, but I do see real estate prices going down just from the market in general, most likely.
Yeah, the market's always going to drive, prices. Realtors don't drive prices; they just drive commissions.
Oh yeah. Hey Zach, what's the optimal age for probate leads? We've been scraping the probate from public notices, and we're about 65 days old, but we're not getting very many calls after 2,000 letters. That's a lot of letters, man. Or gal, I would tell you 30 days, right? I mean, what do you say for this?
Well, you want to get the freshest information as possible, but guys, listen.
Freshest.
Probate, it is a 1-year venture. I just hate to tell you, you only need a few phone calls to make it happen. So just make sure you're getting to the PRs, the personal representative or executor, and kind of put it on autopilot and just keep on to it. Because I've gone 3 months without even getting a call before. But like, you got to understand, when I get the call, it makes up for every day I didn't get a call or anything like that. So remember, most people quit probates within 90 days. Don't be that quitter. Just make sure you're getting the right data and see if you're not missing anything. And you can mix your letter up a little bit. Make sure you're using our probate letter and you kind of put your own spin on it.
No, I agree. And so another good question is, what's the best way to find cash buyers at the moment? I think at the moment right now, I would say, I'm not going to say to call agents right now because you really want agents to get a little pain. That makes sense. Let them kind of struggle a little, and then they're going to get more desperate.
It's going to be confusion.
It's not like over time. Oh my gosh, everything changed, right? It takes some time for the realtors to start changing. They're going to be in la la land. Oh no, the president of NAR told me that they're confident we're going to be fine here. Okay, sure. But best at this moment right now, I would say go to PropStream, go to listrei.com, go to Batch Leads, ZachData.com, get free trials to both of them, see which one you like better, I guess. Go to the cash sales, call those people up. Go to Zillow, go to the For Rents, cold call the landlords and see if they're looking to buy any more property. That's the best way right now to find cash buyers. I have free Facebook tools. So you go to Facebook groups and actually find buyers like that. You just go to freewholesaling.com to learn that. And overall, it's going to help change. It's going to help change your life in wholesaling real estate. You got to go to freewholesaling.com. That's where it's at. I truly believe that the real estate wholesaling market, if we're talking about off market specifically, okay, off market real estate wholesaling, the one I tell you to do most of your time in, I don't see anything being worse. I actually see it being better because you can actually start using real estate agents to help you out more. Now, if you're wholesaling on market, I could see things being neutral because I feel like you can kind of pay them a little more, which is nice. But overall, I think it'll be a little harder to do on-market wholesaling, especially if you are a guru, a trained program. It's going to be a little more difficult for you to do that. So the reason why we kind of teach wholesaling the way we do is we don't want anything crazy to happen. We want to teach you a business to grow to 6 figures to 7 figures, and then how you can keep growing it. When something crazy like this happens, I think about like, hey, what's a crazy law that could happen to change wholesaling off market? Unless you can amend the Constitution, or do something that goes against the real laws, nothing's really going to change. Okay. But with on market, when you have a broker daddy and NAR, that is basically a monopoly, they can get sued like that. And there's always pending lawsuits with them. And so I always look at how to teach wholesaling in a way where you can build it and it doesn't get lost overnight. If you're doing on market, this could completely change everything. This is why I always tell you to do off market stuff. Everyone cries about it, but I'm telling you, it's funny. It's this very sad day that Dweedledee and Dweedledum right here, both dummies, we're not the smartest people in the world, but we're good at wholesaling, right? Why do we have to be the only wholesalers on the internet to tell you about this? Why are we the only ones to tell you the truth and how this is really going to affect wholesaling in general? Why are we the only people to do this? This is really sad. I think everyone who teaches wholesaling should kind of make a change here. Like, why do you actually tell people the truth? It's crazy, but we will always, and I'll give you my word, his word.
Yeah.
If anything crazy happens in this industry, we're going to tell you, and we will probably have to be the first ones to tell you, and heck, the only ones to tell you. So guys, remember, an offer a day keeps the guru away. So if you're watching this and you want to get some wholesaling deals and you want to keep the broke gurus away from you trying to sell you programs, just make an offer on an off-market deal a day. Eventually, you make enough offers, you get enough contracts, you get deals, you make some money. So make offers, do your marketing, get some stuff done. Go to freewholesaling.com, and we'll see you soon. This is Zach Ginn signing out.
Rick Ginn signing out.
Remember this right here. You see it. It's called freewholesaling.com. It's my free real estate wholesaling course. We could charge you $8,000 for it, but we do it for free. Guys, go there, and I'll see you.